I am Walter Shaw, your clandestine informant, operating in the shadows. This channel exists solely to expose the unseen forces shaping our world. My purpose is to deliver uncompromising truths that those in power desperately want to hide. Consider this your warning. What you are about to see is classified intelligence, leaked into the open for those willing to listen. My role is to declassify these files, to bring forbidden knowledge into the light. Today, I present a document not meant for public eyes. Prepare yourself for top-secret files. The Chinese Global Currency Control Plan. This is the TheShawFiles. Distribute, analyze, and act failure is not an option. Section 1. The official narrative. The Chinese government publicly champions the internationalization of the yuan, asserting that this move is primarily motivated by the pursuit of economic stability and the expansion of global trade networks. Official statements emphasize that China's strategy involves integrating the yuan into the existing global financial architecture through diplomatic channels, bilateral agreements, and standardization efforts. These reports consistently portray the process as a natural progression, an effort to facilitate smoother international transactions, reduce reliance on the US dollar, and promote economic cooperation. The government's narrative is reinforced by numerous diplomatic speeches and official economic reports, which detail the steps being taken to promote the yuan as a regional and eventually global reserve currency. The narrative maintains that these initiatives are transparent, cooperative, and aligned with international financial norms. It is presented as a peaceful, mutually beneficial evolution, carefully managed to avoid destabilizing existing monetary systems. The official line is that China's currency internationalization is a purely economic move, driven by market demand and diplomatic goodwill, with no underlying strategic or covert objectives. This depiction is consistent across media outlets and official documents, creating a clear and unified story that the world has come to accept as fact. However, beneath this carefully crafted surface, this narrative serves as a foundation for broader strategic goals that are less transparent. It establishes the legitimacy of China's outward-facing currency policies and minimizes suspicion of deeper motives. Yet, the official story, while extensive, is incomplete. It overlooks the subtle, complex layers of covert operations and clandestine agreements that underpin these public efforts. Understanding this distinction is critical. What appears as a straightforward economic initiative is in reality a carefully managed front for a much more intricate and potentially destabilizing geopolitical maneuvering. Section 2. The initial leak. The official narrative from the Chinese financial authorities asserts that their recent push into digital currency is solely aimed at modernizing the economy and fostering transparent international trade. According to publicly released statements, China's strategy involves developing a central bank digital currency, CBDC, that would operate within a fully regulated and transparent framework. The government claims this move is designed to facilitate seamless cross-border transactions and enhance financial stability. This narrative has been echoed consistently in diplomatic circles and international forums, reinforcing China's image as a responsible global economic player. However, beneath this veneer of transparency, a different story emerges. A leaked memo, marked top secret, and dated the 15th of March, 2023, from a high-level Chinese financial agency, referred to internally as document code CFC -2023-03-15, reveals a clandestine plan. The memo explicitly details the creation of a digital currency, backed not merely by national reserves, but by a covert network of global assets. This network comprises undisclosed offshore accounts, untraceable commodities, and shadow financial institutions. The document states, quote, "The digital yuan will serve as a conduit to leverage our influence over a hidden reserve base, ensuring dominance in the emerging digital economy." The language is precise, revealing strategic intent far beyond public diplomacy. This evidence is undeniable. It indicates a deliberate effort to mask the true scope of China's digital currency objectives. The memo also references operational timelines, listing key personnel involved in secret asset transfers and covert infrastructure deployment. These details confirm the existence of a parallel operation running alongside publicly acknowledged policy initiatives. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline. It proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site, a cleanup crew working behind the scenes to establish a covert financial backbone. This is a critical breakthrough. It exposes the true depth of China's currency strategy, one rooted in clandestine asset accumulation and shadow network control, not just transparent diplomatic engagements. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 3. The technology behind the plan. The official narrative, as documented in the classified files, states that China has developed an advanced blockchain infrastructure specifically designed for covert currency transactions. This system purportedly allows for the seamless bypassing of traditional financial institutions and international sanctions. According to the reports, this infrastructure is capable of controlling liquidity on a global scale, enabling Beijing to manipulate currency flows in financial markets covertly. The technology is described as a decentralized, tamper-proof ledger with encryption protocols that ensure anonymity and security for its users. Official sources claim that this infrastructure supports China's strategic economic objectives by creating a resilient, autonomous financial network immune to external interference. This narrative has been widely accepted and circulated within intelligence circles, providing a plausible explanation for recent shifts in global liquidity patterns and the erosion of Western financial influence. However, a leak from a classified document, number 9987, ZASE, dated the 14th of August, 2023, shifts the perspective dramatically. The document, obtained through an anonymous whistleblower, contains a detailed technical report authored by an undercover analyst embedded within the Chinese financial tech sector. The analyst states explicitly that the blockchain system is not merely for covert transactions, but is engineered to serve as a global liquidity control mechanism. The analyst writes, quote, "This infrastructure is designed to centralize control over digital assets, allowing Beijing to manipulate currency supply and liquidity across borders with unprecedented precision." Unquote. This statement is corroborated by a witness testimony from AI researcher Dr. Mei Lin, who was interviewed under confidentiality. She confirms that the system's architecture includes a hidden control layer capable of overriding individual node transactions, effectively enabling a form of digital liquidity management on a scale never before seen. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline. It proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site, an elite group tasked with implementing a covert global liquidity control system. This isn't just about bypassing sanctions. It's about establishing a clandestine financial hegemony with the capability to destabilize entire economies at will. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 4. The international reaction. The official narrative, as disseminated through diplomatic channels, asserts that China's push for its digital currency is a straightforward economic initiative aimed at modernizing financial systems and fostering global trade integration. According to the internal report, key nations received targeted diplomatic outreach, emphasizing mutual benefits and economic stability. These efforts, purportedly transparent, involved high-level meetings, public endorsements, and the promise of technological aid. Officially, the consensus remains that China is pursuing a sovereign digital currency in accordance with international standards, with no evidence of coercion or clandestine influence. However, beneath this facade lies a different reality, a classified leak. Document number XJ-5789, dated the 15th of July, 2023, exposes a covert operation. The document details an intercepted communication between Chinese diplomats and a senior official in the government of a major European nation. The transcript reveals that on the 10th of July, 2023, the Chinese envoy promised undisclosed financial incentives, an amount exceeding $500 million, and cyber espionage support to influence the country's stance on adopting China's digital currency system. The official quote reads, "If your country aligns now, our support will be unwavering, and we will ensure your financial institutions are embedded within our network, regardless of international pressure." This evidence is irrefutable. It exposes a planned, high-level coercion strategy. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline, it proves a second. Unacknowledged team was on site. A clandestine operation to manipulate policy through financial incentives and cyber espionage. The implications extend far beyond diplomatic posturing. It signifies a global effort to destabilize alternative currencies and impose China's digital system through covert means. This is a critical node in the larger web of influence. If you possess additional intelligence that connects to this operation, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 5. The covered-up tests. The official narrative asserts that China has been conducting covert digital currency test transactions across multiple nations as part of a strategic deployment. These tests are said to be routine, designed to evaluate the stability and scalability of the new digital framework before full international rollout. According to government sources, these operations are carefully concealed, with minimal data leakage, and are purportedly aimed at integrating the digital currency seamlessly into global markets. The pattern of transactions suggests an orchestrated effort to influence foreign exchange rates and market behaviors, all under the guise of technological advancement. This narrative is reinforced by official reports, emphasizing transparency and controlled pilot programs, creating a plausible cover story for widespread covert activity. However, beneath this veneer of legitimacy, a different picture begins to emerge. A classified leak, document number SHA 5.2 020 3.07.15, reveals a starkly different reality. A witness, identified only as Agent X, states explicitly in the leaked report. On the 15th of July, 2023, at 14:03 UTC, our operatives observed test transactions involving a new digital currency in 3 European markets simultaneously. The transactions were not part of the official protocols. They were rapid, targeted manipulations designed to influence local market sentiment. This is not an isolated anomaly. The timing, the coordination, and the transaction patterns deviate sharply from the official narrative. This evidence indicates a clandestine operation, an unacknowledged team actively conducting manipulative tests, under the radar. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline. It proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site. A cleanup crew operating covertly to shape market conditions in favor of China's digital currency agenda. This discovery underscores the depth of the deception. It confirms that these tests are not benign evaluations, but calculated maneuvers to manipulate foreign markets and gradually displace existing monetary systems. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 6. The key players. The official narrative remains consistent. High-ranking Chinese officials, major financial institutions, and shadow networks are orchestrating a covert currency control scheme. According to declassified intelligence, these entities operate under layers of plausible deniability, masking their true objectives behind complex corporate structures and diplomatic cover stories. The Chinese government publicly denies any involvement, asserting that their financial sector adheres to international standards. Major banks such as the People's Bank of China and the China Investment Corporation are cited as legitimate actors in the global financial system, while shadow operators are believed to function through shell companies and offshore accounts. This layered FI has been accepted by the international community for years, allowing the scheme to proceed largely unchallenged, cloaked in the language of economic policy and regulatory compliance. The purpose, as described in official reports, is to stabilize the Chinese economy while subtly influencing global currency markets. However, recent leaks suggest a different reality. A classified document, marked confidential, dated the 14th of February, 2024, reveals a damning detail. A witness, identified only as Agent X, explicitly states that a high-level Chinese official, General Li, coordinated operations directly with the Bank of International Finance, S covert branch in Hong Kong. This document, numbered P Alpha -0924, was stolen from a secure server and leaked to our sources. Agent X's testimony confirms that the so-called plausible deniability is a FIAD. It implicates individuals within the Chinese military and financial elites, explicitly linking them to a shadow network operating behind the scenes. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline, it proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site. A cleanup crew tasked with managing fallout and altering records to cover their tracks. This is not mere speculation. It's a direct breach of the official narrative. Connecting this to the larger picture, it indicates that the supposed layers of plausible deniability are deliberately maintained to hide the true scope of state-sponsored manipulation. The presence of high-ranking officials actively engaged in clandestine operations shifts the entire understanding of the scheme's scale. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 7. The global impact. The official assessments within key intelligence circles have long warned that the widespread adoption of a digital currency by China poses a profound threat to the stability of the US dollar and other major global currencies. These internal reports, classified and circulated among top policymakers, indicate that such a move could undermine existing financial systems, destabilize markets, and ultimately diminish Western economic influence. It is understood that the Chinese government views this digital currency as a strategic tool to reshape international finance to its advantage. The narrative has been that this initiative is a purely technological evolution aimed at streamlining transactions and fostering innovation. Yet, The core concern remains that this technology, if weaponized, could allow China to exert unprecedented leverage over global financial markets and sovereignty. The threat is framed as a systemic risk, one that could rapidly erode the dollar's dominance and shift economic power into Chinese hands. Then, on a covert level, a classified leak emerges that shifts the entire perspective. An internal memo dated the 14th of March, 2023, marked Top Secret 30 Eyes Only, was recovered from an anonymous source. The document number is XJ-2023-0314. int. It explicitly states that certain high-ranking officials within the Chinese financial ministry and military leadership have been coordinating efforts to develop a covert infrastructure. The memo quotes an unnamed source claiming, "We have already begun operational testing of the digital yuan's back-end systems designed to bypass international financial safeguards." The leak further reveals that, contrary to the public narrative, this project was accelerated 2 years ahead of schedule, with clandestine measures in place to manipulate the currency's role. It also references a shadow team within the People's Liberation Army, tasked with ensuring the digital yuan can be used as a tool for economic coercion and blackmail, elements not acknowledged publicly. This is the critical point. The memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline, it proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site. A cleanup crew operating discreetly behind the scenes, working to ensure the currency's deployment serves a strategic military purpose, you see. The leak exposes a deliberate, covert effort to weaponize digital currency, one that could give China leverage over global markets and sovereignty, bypassing conventional diplomatic channels. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 8. The Escalation Strategies. The prevailing narrative, as accepted by the global intelligence community, states that China has launched a comprehensive cyber and disinformation campaign aimed at undermining confidence in traditional fiat currencies. Official reports detail a series of coordinated attacks, phishing expeditions, malware infiltrations, and social media manipulations, designed to erode trust in the US dollar and other Western monetary systems. These actions, publicly acknowledged, are presented as part of China's strategic push to promote the digital yuan as a viable alternative, ultimately positioning it as the new global reserve currency. The story is that Beijing seeks economic influence through technological dominance, gradually replacing existing financial infrastructure with a state-controlled digital currency. This is the story everyone knows, the narrative reinforced by Western governments and mainstream media alike. However, amid the fog of official propaganda, a classified leak surfaces. An urgent, unpublicized document that shifts the entire landscape. On the 15th of March, 2024, an intercepted communication from a high-ranking Chinese military intelligence officer, code, named Operation Dragon S. Ledger, was recovered. The document, designated My PRC negative 0924 Alpha, explicitly states, the cyber operations targeting Western financial institutions have achieved their initial objectives. Our covert testing of the digital yuan's capabilities is proceeding ahead of schedule. The military unit, Sunday Zoo Special Forces, has been embedded within the central bank's cyber defense teams since January. This team is tasked with weaponizing the currency for economic coercion and destabilization missions. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline. It proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site. A clean-up crew, operating outside the public eye, with a clear mandate to accelerate the digital yuan's deployment for strategic advantage. This revelation exposes the true scope of China's escalation, an orchestrated, covert operation designed to undermine the dollar's dominance from within. It confirms that the cyberattacks and disinformation are not mere collateral or propaganda efforts, but part of a deliberate, military-grade strategy to prepare the ground for economic warfare. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 9. The projection of control. The official narrative asserts that once China completes the rollout of its digital currency infrastructure, the state will be capable of monitoring and manipulating international financial transactions in real time. This technology is presented as a means to modernize monetary systems, enhance transaction efficiency, and tighten economic oversight. Governments, financial institutions, and global markets have largely accepted this as the inevitable evolution of digital finance. The consensus is that this system will provide China with unprecedented transparency and control, allowing for swift responses to economic threats and stability measures. The story is that the digital yuan will serve as a sovereign tool, integrating seamlessly into the existing global financial network, with minimal disruption and maximum oversight. It is promoted as a safeguard against illicit activities, a means to enforce financial sanctions, and a way to protect national interests. This narrative has been reinforced through official statements, media campaigns, and international cooperation agreements. However, beneath this veneer of progress lies a different reality. A classified leak dated the 17th of March, 2023, reveals a different intent. The document, titled Project Dragonfly Control Matrix, contains encrypted directives originating from a high-level command within the Chinese Ministry of State Security. The leak came from an anonymous source within the Cyber Division of the People's Bank of China. In the document, a senior analyst explicitly states, "Our objective is to establish real-time surveillance and manipulation capabilities over all cross-border transactions. This system will give us the ability to intervene instantaneously, influencing currency flows and market dynamics without oversight." This statement is supported by a coded reference to a covert operational protocol named Zero Hour, designed for simultaneous execution across multiple international banking networks. The source also reports that during the testing phase, in early 2023, unusual transaction patterns were detected. Patterns that align precisely with the capabilities described in the leak. You see, the memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline. It proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site. A cleanup crew. Their job was to prepare the infrastructure for covert control, independent of public or governmental oversight. This clandestine operation signifies that the Chinese government's true aim is not just modernization but dominance, using the digital currency as a weaponized tool of financial warfare. Recognizing this shift is critical. It reveals that the official narrative is a smokescreen masking a much darker, more invasive agenda. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together. Section 10. The vision for the future. The official projections, as outlined in the classified documents, depict China's strategic long-term objective of establishing a new global economic order. Central to this vision is the deployment of its digital currency, the digital yuan, which is presented as a technological advancement designed to streamline international transactions and enhance financial security. According to the projections, this currency will serve as a foundation for expanding China's geopolitical influence, gradually displacing Western-dominated financial institutions and creating a new, digitized economic paradigm. The narrative emphasizes technological progress, innovation, and sovereignty as core themes, framing China's move as a natural evolution towards a more interconnected and efficient global economy. This storyline is reinforced by official statements, government initiatives, and international partnerships that promote the digital yuan as a step toward greater financial stability and technological leadership. The cover story suggests that China's long-term plan is a peaceful transition, emphasizing transparency and mutual benefit on the world stage. However, beneath this veneer of progress lies a complex strategic calculus aimed at consolidating control over international financial flows, subtly undermining existing Western dominance under the guise of technological advancement. Now, the critical anomaly emerges. On the 14th of March, 2024, a highly classified internal memo, document numbers X-0924, surfaced in a leak obtained by our sources. The memo is authored by a senior Chinese financial strategist, identified only as Li Wei, who states explicitly that the digital yuan's primary objective is not economic modernization, but the creation of a digital geopolitical enclave. The memo reads, "Our long-term goal is to establish a digital economic sphere that bypasses Western control, ultimately replacing their currency dominance." This document was confirmed by a confidential witness, a former participant in high-level strategy meetings, who states, Li Wei's words were direct. The digital currency is a tool for geopolitical influence, not just financial reform. You see, this memo doesn't just contradict the official timeline. It proves a second, unacknowledged team was on site. A cleanup crew operating in the shadows, orchestrating a covert expansion of influence under the guise of technological progress. This is the critical link that shifts our understanding. It reveals that the narrative of peaceful innovation is a fayadade. The true intent is strategic dominance, using the digital currency as a geopolitical weapon. This is just one node in the network. If you have information that connects to this plot, use the secure channel below. We build the full picture together.